Hey, it's Caroline from Santé Women's Coaching. Today's workout is yoga. This one is focusing on forward movements, so we're going to get the back of the legs stretched, the back strengthened, the front of the legs worked, the front of the chest nice and stretched, so this will feel really good. It's going to be a quick routine. You can always repeat it if you choose to. It's entirely up to you. Remember, even when I show the more advanced modification or version, you are always welcome to do the one that you feel the most comfortable with. And when I go through, I will try to show as many different versions as I can, but it's kind of hard to keep up with all of that while I'm speaking and breathing and everything. So I'll do what I can, and remember, you can always ask me on the website or in person if you have any questions about any of the movements, because my goal isn't to give you something that's difficult, it's to give you something that you can build off of and that you can use to strengthen your body, to gain your flexibility, and to feel more and more at home and at ease in your own skin. So that's our goal here. So I hope you enjoy this workout. Go on and go ahead and get to your mat. All right, so we're starting at the top of our mats. We always start in mountain pose, and that just means that our ankles are directly beneath our hips, and then our arms reach up to the sky, and then they stretch. They come down to the sides, floating slowly down, and let's try that one more time. Lifting the arms up, palms come together, then we separate the palms, opening out, and we swan dive forward, stretching down towards the ground. We're always moving toward the ground rather than trying to touch it, because for many of us, we need to bend our knees in order to actually touch the ground. The back should never feel any stress here. It should always be safe. So we've got our back straight, our knees are bent, our hands are on the ground. We step our right leg back and our left leg back. So now we're in plank. And you can always lower your knees if you choose to. And then here we'll be coming down to the floor, bending the elbows, keeping them close in, and rising up into cobra. So this is a high version. This will be your low cobra, whatever your back allows right now. So then the back is up, stretching out towards the ceiling, pressing back, coming into child's pose, taking a breath, lifting up to hands and knees, turn those toes under, lift the knees, down dog. Take a breath. The heels are working toward the floor. If they don't touch, it's not a problem. And then we step our right leg forward, our left leg forward, hands to our hips, and we come up. We're going to do that one more time. We'll move a little bit more slowly. It's our standard sun salutation, and it just helps to wake the body up. So the hands reach up, clap the hands together, swan dive forward, fold. Again, your knees can be bent if they need to, or they can be straight. Hands come to the ground, straighten, or bend the knees, one leg back, other leg back, or hop it back into plank. Bend the elbows to lower yourself down. You can go all the way to the floor, or you can simply turn up and come into up dog. So there's your version, the two versions there, cobra or up dog. Then we turn our toes under, down dog. So take your time to get up into your down dog, stretching it up. Hips are the highest point of your body, and then step or hop it to the top of your mat. Hands to your hips, come up with a flat back. Roll the shoulders up and back, make sure you can come back into your mountain pose. So now hopefully you're warm. We'll come into our Warrior One series. So the arms reach up, palms come together, palms open up to the side, swan dive forward. From here, we're going to step our right leg back, left leg back, or hop into plank. So it's as though we're coming into a sun salutation. Then we'll go ahead and just lift up into down dog. Step our right leg forward. Lower the back heel down. Bend the front knee so that you can come up into Warrior One. Clap the hands together. And then come back forward again. All the way to the front leg so that you can bring your right leg back, and then you're back into down dog. Left leg comes forward into Warrior One on the other side. We're just kind of stretching things out. So then, hands come together on top, And then we come forward, down we go, back into plank. Now we lift back up into down dog. Look forward, you can step or hop it. Forward. Look rising up, clap at the top. So you can see we're always hinging at our hips, always keeping our back straight, bending the knees together if we need to stay safe with our back, or keeping them straight. Now we're going to actually hold it for longer, so we're actually strengthening and working our warrior one. So the hands are going to come up on top of our head, little clap, opening them up, swan dive forward. Decide, step or hop into plank. Lift your hips into down dog. We're going to look forward slightly so that we can bring our right leg between the hands, lower our back heel, and then we come up into our serious warrior one. So, warrior one. The back foot, the toes are going to point towards the top corner of your mat. The front knee is bent. The front foot is pointing to the top. Let's bring those arms up above our head. And we're reaching up to the sky. That front knee is nice and bent. You will feel a stretch through here. You might feel your Achilles tendon back on that back leg. You want to build some strength in that front leg. Reaching it up. And then we're going to straighten that front leg, coming into pyramid. Now you may need to actually inch that front foot a little bit further back. So now we're in pyramid. Both legs are straight. Think of the way a pyramid actually looks with angles. And then we hinge forward at the hips, coming forward, folding towards the front leg. Back stays neutral. Legs are working and stretching at the same time. The arms can just rest on top of your back, or they can rest on your thigh. We're holding it for a little bit longer. Enjoy that stretch. You will feel it. And you can continue to come further down, provided that you're simply decreasing the angle between the hips, right here, and the rib cage. No bending of the back. So this would be bending the back. This is decreasing your angle. Okay? So then go ahead and slowly bend that front knee slightly so that you can lift yourself back up. And then you're going to step forward with the back foot. Go ahead and shake out those legs. We're going to take the right leg back now, coming into our warrior one on the other side. So now we have our warrior one. We're going to try to keep our hips from spilling forward. Remember the hips. If you look at the belt line of your pants, whichever direction that belt line is kind of aiming or pointing towards, that's the way the hips are moving. So we really want it to be parallel to the ground. Then we're going to bend that front knee and stretch that back leg. Now the arms can again come up, reaching up. In order to stay stable here, you actually have to use your core a lot to keep the back healthy and straight, to keep the abs from opening forward, reaching up, work that back leg, see about bending that front knee, provided you can keep the hips stable. So there's where the challenge comes in. And then straighten that front knee. Again, you might have to move the front leg back or step slightly forward with the back leg so that you can come into a comfortable pyramid. And then finding the hips again, hinge forward. The stretch happens in the backs of the legs on your pyramid. It is really a delicious stretch for the legs, but because your weight is pitching forward, you have to focus on keeping your weight balanced between the two legs. So it's kind of a brain game at the same time that you're working your body. You're stretching and enjoying that stretch, and then slowly lift yourself back up. Bend that front knee slightly so you can step it forward. All right, go ahead and shake those legs. Now we're going to bring our hands back up, coming into that mountain pose again. Reaching the arms up, clapping forward, swan diving as we allow the arms to lower. So our legs can be bent or straight. Step or hop it back into plank. Bend the elbows, chaturanga, all the way to the floor or halfway down, and then cobra or up dog. So here's your up dog. And then turning your toes under, down dog. Take your breath here. This is your pause. Reaching those hips up to the sky. And then stepping the right leg forward. Now it's as though we're coming back into that warrior pose that we were in before, but we're actually going to shift it slightly. So this is your challenge pose. Your legs are nice and warm. So for your challenge pose, you're going to put all your weight into that front leg. And then you just kind of start lifting that back foot. You see, you can kind of rock it forward. Rock the weight forward onto that back foot, or onto the front foot. The back leg lifts. Then, really straighten that core, make it nice and strong. And you can lift your hands up off the ground. Your hands can be in front, like this, on the floor. They can be on the block. They can be in prayer. They can be out to the side. They can be up above. This is called Warrior 3. Engage your glutes. Engage your leg. Really stretch it out because you want it parallel to the floor or as much as possible. And then slowly hinge and bring it back back to the front. Take a breath. That is quite a challenge. Then we're going to step our right foot back so that we can kind of go back into that Warrior 1 positioning. That allows us to put the weight in that front leg. Coming forward, we're getting the correct positioning in our front leg and our hips. Then our hands can reach, our fingertips can touch the floor. We can slowly lift that back leg up. You can see you can do the rocking motion to help it up. Once it's up, get your footing, and then slowly try to lift your hands up off the floor. And again, they can be in prayer. They can be out to the side like an airplane. Oops. Or they can be up above your head. This is my weaker leg. Not as much fun, I admit. Either way, you want to keep your hips from opening up like this into half moon. You want to keep the hips pointing down. When you're finished, step that back foot back down and step it forward. So those are the two different ways to come out. You can either hinge that back leg forward, like we did at the beginning, or you can lower it back into Warrior 1. Either way is fine. Okay, so hands come back up to the sky. Fold yourself forward. Enjoy the stretch in the legs. So there's no music on this video, which allows you to put on whatever music in the background you choose that you like to listen to when you exercise. So pick something that is really soothing and calming even though you're doing work. All right, so from here, we're going to have our tricep fingertips here on the floor beside our feet. We're going to, again, step or hop back into plank. And you can lower your knees. I'll show that now. Lowering the knees. And then from here, you're going to lift your hips, coming back. So it's as though we're doing our hands and foot and knees pose. But we're actually going to lift the knees, come into down dog, take a breath, and then step your right leg forward. So whenever you're in hands and knees, you always have the option of being in down dog and vice versa. Those are the two kind of related poses. So from our lunge position, we're going to try to lift by pressing our weight down into the ground with our legs. We lift the upper body. Hands come up. Reaching up to the sky, the back heel is off the ground. The weight is distributed evenly. You will feel an amazing stretch right here. And breathe. It's a wonderful breath. And then lower that back knee. So now we're coming into our stretch. So the stretch here is going to be in that hip flexor on the back leg. And you want a nice deep stretch here. And it feels really good. At least I hope it does for you. It feels really good for me. This is a particularly tight spot for most people, so you never go wrong by trying to stretch your hip flexor. Now let's go ahead and bring the weight back onto that back knee. Straighten the front leg, the heel touches the floor, the feet lift up. The weight on the back leg is distributed with this right angle on the back leg. If you have your knee a little bit further back, it's going to put stress on your kneecap. If you bring it forward, it's going to actually put stress on the underneath your kneecap. So you really want the weight balanced. And then just enjoy the stretch on that front leg. Take a breath. And always remember that you want to keep the back nice and straight and safe at all times. We will strengthen our back here in a moment, but first we want to get these hamstrings and legs stretched out. So let's go ahead and bend that front knee, and we're going to bring the weight forward again. Now here's an opportunity for a back stretch. So with this one, normally we keep our back nice and straight, as you can see, like this. Now we're going to actually allow our back to arch and lift up. So then you push your weight down into your legs, and you can see how by pulling your shoulders up and back, you can get your back to arch. And then lower it forward, hands come around your foot, turn those back toes under, lift the back knee, step the front leg back, and come into down dog, or hands and knee pose. And again, pedal the feet, enjoy that stretch. And then the left foot comes forward. We're going to lift up into our lunge on the other side, lifting up. Enjoy the stretch here. Pressing the weight down into the legs. Noticing what's happening everywhere. Is there anything tight? Do you feel like anything is doing more work than it should? Just pay attention to what your body is doing. Then, when you're set, when you're ready, go ahead and bring the weight forward, hands down, lower that back knee, and we're coming into the hip flexor stretch. So the weight is pushing down, we're keeping our hips pointing toward the floor, and enjoying the stretch. Stretching is what first got me into yoga. I absolutely love it. It's definitely my favorite part of yoga. After some knee injuries, I had a lot of issues with flexibility and strength, and I found that by doing yoga, I could actually start walking again, and I was not able to walk for a while. So it was a really amazing experience, and I've been doing it ever since. And that was about 15 years ago. All right, let's bring the weight back. Straighten that front leg. And here we got to think about our back. We always want to protect our back, our spine, because the back is not made to hold a lot of weight. We think it should because, of course, we have the spinal column, but if you think about it, there's just not a whole lot of muscle there along the spinal column to actually hold it up. We have to have strong abs in order to do that. And for women especially, our hips were created or built in a way that allows for all of the stress of standing up to actually go into our hips and not our back. So from here, let's go ahead and bend that front knee, bring the weight forward again. Here's the opportunity to add some back flexion or flexibility. So from here, roll the shoulders up and back, arching the back up. You can bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, lift the back foot. A lot of options here. Whatever it takes to enjoy the stretch. It will feel fun, and you might get wobbly. You might feel like you're falling all over the place, fall over your mat. Who cares? You're in your own living room. Nobody can see you anyway. All right, so from here then, go ahead and if you lifted that back leg, lower it down. Hands come beside your feet, and then slowly lift the back knee so that you can bring your left foot back, lifting yourself up into down dog. Take a breath. Now coming into plank, you roll the weight forward, slowly come forward. So here's your high plank. And then you bend your elbows. When you do a chaturanga, which a chaturanga is coming down to the floor, whenever you do that, you want to bend your elbows, bring the elbows in towards your rib cage, and then shift your weight slightly forward so that you can see with the plank, your toes are actually on the floor. Your toes are bent. When you come into chaturanga, you actually lift onto the tops of your toes, bring your weight forward, then lower down. That allows for you to safely move and shift forward without compromising your shoulder stability. That's all that does. And we really want safe shoulders. So now you're on your stomach. So it's entirely up to you. You can totally just stay here and rest for the next couple minutes if you want to. Or you can try lifting your legs off the floor. All you're doing is literally lifting your legs off the floor. Lower those down, rest for a minute, shake out the hips if you need to. And then try it again. This time, your hands are going to be lifting as well. When you lift your legs, you lift your arms. So the rib cage lifts off the floor, and if you notice, this looks like Superman. So many people actually call it that, Superman. But you're building such amazing strength in your upper back, lifting as high as you want, and then when you're finished, you lower down. Take a breath. I'm always amazed, no matter how many years I do those, how much work they still are. Every time I do Supermans, it's just, wow. It's really great for the back. Okay, so from here, we're going to do one last exercise before we shift from this position. We're actually going to lift our feet, bend the knees. We're going to bring our heels together. Our hands are going to come down right here in front of our face so that we have some stability. And if you want to, you can lay your forehead on your hands. I won't because it makes it too hard to talk. And then you want to separate your knees out wide. So now you're going to feel like a frog. And that's the idea. You're going to lift your knees off the ground. Using your glutes right here, you're going to feel a squeeze. And then you lower. And you lift. And you lower. And lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Lift. I know it's not fun. And lower. One more. Lift. And lower. And shake it out. Now if you felt that at all in your back, make sure you shake it out really well. You want to feel it right here. That's where you want to feel it. And over time, you will start feeling it there. But if you felt it in your back, then you don't want to lift up quite that high. So just, play it. Notice and remember what it is you're trying to work, and then shift or adjust however you need to feel it in those muscles. Okay. Hands come underneath your shoulders. You can lift up into Cobra. So this is a stretch. We're lifting our rib cage up, rolling our shoulders up and back. Enjoying the stretch because it feels good. And then we lower down again so that we can press the floor away with our hands, with our knees and our feet, pressing down, bringing the weight back, shifting into child's pose. Rest there for a moment. Take a breath, enjoy. And then slowly lifting yourself up, 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 up. Coming into Japanese style sitting. Pull the shoulders up and back. Rest there for just a moment. And then put all your weight onto one side. Bring your feet out from underneath you. Shift your feet forward. And you can walk yourself forward. And then hands under your hips. Rolling onto your back. So from here, we just want to do a little bit of ab work. So with your abs, the key to working your abdominal muscles, and that's the lower, the middle, and the upper, is to simply keep the back on the floor. That's the key. If your back lifts or arches, you've lost your stability. So keep that back glued to the floor, and then lift the legs up. So it's like you're creating an L shape with your body or a right angle with your body. So from here, your hands can come out to the side, and then you're just going to lower your feet ever so slightly, and then lift back up. If the back lifts off the floor, then you've moved, gone too far. So only lower as far as you can safely. And you can feel your stomach tighten. We'll do just a few of these. So I'm taking these slow and controlled. And as you can see, I'm not even going very far. One more. And lower the feet. Rest there for a moment. And then shift the knees from side to side. Open the hands out to the side. Rest, knowing that you did a good job. Bring your feet, the soles of your feet together, open your knees out into a Baddha Konasana on your back. Rest there for a moment and then spread your feet out so that you can come into full rest position, which is called Shavasana. And just enjoy it. Rest here for as long as you want. Whenever you finish, you just turn, roll over to one side and slowly lift yourself up. Or you can place your hands behind your thighs and roll yourself up. Either way, take your time about coming out of Shavasana. It really is a great rest position to be in, and you cannot hurt yourself in any way by taking a little bit longer to enjoy the time. So I hope you've enjoyed this workout. Let me know if you have any questions, and if there's anything else that I can help you with on it, I'm here for you. Have a great time, and I'll see you next time.